All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 9th, 2025 meeting of the Walpole Select Board. We'll call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right, so we are 2 minutes ahead for the public hearing, but let's go ahead and open it up and we'll begin the discussion and we can get started there. So I would hear a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion to open the hearing for Miles Express Inc., 1005 Providence Highway for violation of the terms of their liquor license.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500. The motion passes, so we are now in our public hearing. Jim, if you could
Sure.
start us off.
Just a brief summary of how we got to where we're at tonight. So back on April 26, 2025, an employee of the licensee Miles Gas Station sold an alcoholic beverage to a person under the age of 21 years old during compliance checks by members of the Walpole Police Department Detective Division. The service of alcohol to an underage person constitutes a violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, sale of alcohol to a minor, in Code 204, Code of Massachusetts Regulations. So as a result of this violation, Aoife and myself, your licensing clerk, met with the licensee and his brother back over the summer, and he has agreed to a 2-day suspension of their liquor license. The licensee agreed to determine the days of the suspension and inform the board within 7 days, as agreed upon by the representative of Miles Gas Station. So that's how we got here. We've reached an amicable agreement on this one. 2 days is the maximum allowed by the law. He's agreed to that, so I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, great. Does any member of the board have further comment at this point? I think, okay. All right, so I believe Robert Fidel is with us. Yeah. If you could come on up to the lectern, please. So Jim just ran through essentially, what happened, what occurred. We've talked a little bit about the agreement for the 2-day suspension. If you could just tell us a little bit, Robert, about what y'all are doing to ensure this doesn't happen again and changes to your business.
Yeah, so I give the employee a warning, of course, as I told him, and I bought the token machine.
Okay.
They have the database with the like a police. It goes like it catches 99% of the fake IDs, which is now it's impossible to know if it's fake or not.
Okay.
So hopefully it keeps working, and we're using that machine. It's like a $5,000 machine, but every ID we scan it. So we're getting a lot of fake IDs.
Right.
Yeah. So every purchase that's gonna be for liquor or tobacco, we're using that machine. So hopefully no more violations.
Okay.
We
All right,
don't
great.
we don't want violations.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, so, in light of the fact that you've made quite a few changes, trying to remediate this issue and make sure that it doesn't happen again, and the fact that, you've agreed to this 2-day suspension of your liquor license, I think that's a good start. We just want to reiterate how important this is, to the select board, to the town, that these rules are adhered to. And so we're starting with this, 2-day suspension, which is the maximum allowed, under MGL. And hopefully we won't come back to this situation, but we just wanted to reinforce how important it is to the town, to the residents, to everybody here, that we really adhere strictly to all of this. So at this time, I'd open it up to the rest of the board. If anyone had any comments or questions for Mr. Fidel. Glenn?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to overstate and overemphasize how concerning it is to have any liquor license violations at all. When we give out these, when we issue these licenses, we do it with a certain number of expectations and understanding that that there won't be. It's not the kind of thing that we want to see a mistake. It's not. It's okay. You made a mistake. Don't do better next time. Which is kind of what this conversation is the way it's being phrased. But I just want to, I always like to look forward, but I do want to look back for a minute and to say that, like, the expectation was that this would not have happened to begin with, and I know you know that, and I know all our license holders in Walpole know that. I do not want Walpole to be known as a place where people could come from other states, from other towns, from within Walpole, if they're 20, 19, 16, any age, under 21, and buy liquor or beer. You don't want that. It's not good for your business. We don't want that. It's not good for our community. It's not good for our town. So it can't have happened to begin with, but it did, and it certainly can't happen again. So I don't think I could say that over and over, and I wouldn't feel like I've overemphasized it. I think you get the message. It is unacceptable, and I more than hope that it doesn't happen again.
I hope to, yeah. I'm trying my best because I gave the employee first and final warning, for this. And I bought that machine, that's the best thing I can do for checking the ID. Because now, I don't know if you've seen fake IDs. You can never tell a real ID from fake IDs.
It is a challenge,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so that machine will help us a lot.
Okay.
Great.
Hey, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark.
I agree with what Glenn just said, and I really do appreciate that you bought that machine, because that's the best thing for the town, and that's the best thing for you.
Yes.
You just stick it in and yay or nay, and, it would become really clear to people who stop there that you don't go there, with a bad ID anymore, because you're going to catch it. So I really do appreciate you taking that step. I know it costs a lot of money,
We're
but,
getting fake IDs every day.
yeah, it's appreciated.
Especially for tobacco. That's not just for liquor. Because tobacco is 21 too.
Yep.
And all the kids wants to smoke, so
Yeah.
we're using that for tobacco too.
Yeah, it's an
So
important
it's
job.
helping us a lot.
Very good. Anybody else? All right, very good. Anyone from the public here that would like to be heard? Being that there isn't anybody, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I move to close the hearing for Miles Express, Inc. for violations of their liquor license.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0-0.
I can make a motion?
Please.
I move that the select board hereby finds that the licensee, Miles Express, Inc., served an underage person on April 26, 2025, and further, that in consideration of this being the first violation of Miles Express, Inc., and the licensee waiving their right to appeal, the select board hereby imposes a 2-day suspension with the days to be provided to the select board within 7 days.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes 5-0-0. Okay, Mr. Fidel, thank you.
Thank you, sorry about that.
All right. Okay, we will move on to the next order of business under appointments, which is the Police Chief Quarterly Report. Police Chief Kelleher, if you could please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Yes, after that hearing had just closed, it is something that we have taken seriously as well, and we'll continue to do those compliance checks to all the license holders throughout town as we move forward, especially where a lot of people are back in town now after the summer, so that'll be something that's on our radar and we'll continue to do moving forward. So I'll start off with the most notable incidents from the last time we were here. So on April 5th, we responded to the area of the church behind on Rhodes Ave for a person that had suffered some catastrophic injuries. Investigation revealed that the person had unfortunately taken their own life. In the wooded area behind there did cause quite a scene in the neighborhood with investigators there, but unfortunately that person did pass away, but there was no threat to the community during that incident. On April 10th, officers responded to the area of Winter Street and Vintage Farm Road for a report of a motor vehicle crash involving a motorcycle. The operator of the motorcycle suffered serious life-threatening injuries and unfortunately passed away as a result of that incident. Investigation was conducted by our crash reconstructionist, Detective Foley, along with an officer from Mansfield PD who has equipment to help map a scene. We also work with the DA's office on that, which is standard protocol in any type of fatal crash. As a result of that crash, that investigation, it was determined the operator of that motorcycle was traveling at an incredibly high rate of speed, which caused the crash, and as a result, no charges were filed in that incident. And anyways, my thoughts are with the victim of that. It was unfortunate, but again, the investigation was thorough and complete, and no charges were filed. On May 1st, officers responded to a residence in East Walpole for a reported overdose. Naloxone was administered by the officers as well as paramedics from the Walpole Fire Department. Victim regained consciousness and was fortunate to survive the ordeal. On June 11th, we had another overdose up on Hilltop Drive. Again, naloxone was administered in time, and the person regained consciousness as well and did survive the ordeal. On the 4th of July, late in the evening, the officers responded to Bullitt Street, right near Willard Pond, for a person that was missing. Evidence of the scene led officers to believe that the person had fallen into the pond there. Members of the Walpole Fire Department responded to conduct a search and were able to locate the person who was in the water. They were rescued from the water by the fire department and brought to the shore, transported to the hospital, but unfortunately that person did pass away as well. No evidence was present to suggest there was anything nefarious going on, simply a tragic accident. So that was the end of that. But again, great teamwork all around with that one. But again, a tragic ending. On July 14th, officers responding to East Street near Tanglewood Road for another motor vehicle crash involving a motorcycle. The operator of that motorcycle suffered serious injuries and also passed away as a result. The crash still remains under investigation at this time for that, on that incident, so I can't comment any further on any charges, but it is still ongoing. We did have quite a few of those in the past 2 quarters, which is troubling. Again, there was nothing consistent with each of those incidences that would lead me to believe there's a trend, aside from high speeds and motorcycles, of course. But I would, not to use an opportunity for tragedy to grandstand a little, not grandstand, but stand on the soapbox, but I would like to recognize the hard work of all the officers and the medics that responded to those scenes. Incredibly difficult to manage, and I thought the professionalism that was exhibited in all those instances, in both the response, the patient care, and the follow-up investigation was well done by everybody. So unfortunately, our thoughts are with the families of those who lost loved ones in these tragic incidents that I just mentioned, but the efforts from our public safety personnel was tremendous. Statistically, this quarter, at quarter 2, 2025, we had 5,392 calls for service and 26 arrests. In quarter 3, we were much lower with only 3,100 calls for service and about 12 arrests. I kind of take that into account as the summertime. We have a lot less population around town. Quarter 2 was busy, and overall, I can't exactly put a finger on why. It would just seem like these ebbs and flows of these things pile up once in a while, and we were kind of running around quite a bit during that quarter, so that's why the calls were a little bit higher. Overdose-wise, we were exactly where we were last year with 4 overdose totals and no fatalities, thankfully. Quarter 2 at Longview Farm, we had 117 calls to service, and in quarter 3, we had 109. That brings us to 276 for the year, which is actually down from 292 from last year. We've seen the same trend with them. Very low-key in quarter 1, and then it ramps up a little bit when kids go back to school and people get readjusted. But again, it's status quo at Longview. Busy, but communication is still there with their staff, and we're making do what we have up there. So no real changes at Longview. In terms of personnel training, we had a number of instructor trainings take place in this quarter. CPR, first aid, patrol procedures, field sobriety tests instructor, PT training for the academy, as well as RAD instructors. We've managed to recert and retrain some new people for that, which is good, so we can keep some of our stuff in-house. We had 2 sergeants attend an FBI leadership training, which is incredible training through the FBI they offer, and we're trying to get all of our first-line supervisors trained in that 3-step program through the FBI. And we also, Officer Bento also went to the pedestrian crash reconstruction class to try to ramp him up to become a full-time crash reconstructionist. In terms of personnel, Officer Adrian Timmerman had resigned from her position as a police officer to pursue a career as a paramedic. We wish her definitely the best of luck. Judy Ryan retired after 30 years of service to the town. She meant a tremendous amount to me personally, as well as the chiefs that came before me, as well as the department as a whole. She did a great job training her 2 replacements, Deanna Frucci and Tasha Smith, who will take over in her roles in various capacities. And a lot of work went into making sure that we're in a good spot right now. So I can't thank Judy enough for all she did for us, all she did for the town, and all of her hard work. And she's sorely missed. And I did see her a few times, and she's enjoying retirement tremendously, as I can imagine. So. Student Officer Shane Basanti, who was before you over the summertime, is slated to graduate from the Fitchburg State University Police Academy this coming Friday. He will begin work here on Monday the 15th. So we look forward to having him get ramped up on his training and get online. Dispatcher Brittany Conran resigned for a position to take as a dispatcher to take a position as a teacher, and we wish her the best of luck going forward as well. In terms of community policing, we had National Drug Take Back Day in April. We collected over 100 pounds of unwanted drugs and medication and disposed of it in conjunction with the DEA. The plant factory attended the farmers market yet again. They had worked to raise money for us and the fire department in the past, and this year their beneficiary selected was the COA. So officers stopped by and visited them, and we've been in communication with the people that run that organization, and they do a tremendous job. So they are donating some funds to the COA this year for various community events that they run. So great job by those kids. We done the basketball event in May. We played the kids from Fisher School in basketball, and we got beaten up pretty good, so we'll stick to our day job. Oops, not a thing, apparently. Flag football event we went to in June. That was the all-star teams from all the various elementary schools in town. Same result as the basketball game, unfortunately for us. Officer Holmes, dispatcher Fitzpatrick attended the Special Olympics torch run. Officer Holmes is incredibly involved in this. It's near and dear to his heart. He does a great job with it. So they participated in a cruiser convoy, and then they were able to hand out some medals to the Summer Olympians through the Special Olympics. So it was a great event for them to participate in, and we're glad they had us be a part of that. It meant a lot to our guys to be there. We had 2 classes for the Junior Academy go through in June and July. Again, very popular as it always is. Waiting lists on each one, so it's a great event. The kids love it. Cops love it, and I'm glad it's still going on, so we had 2 more of those classes. And finally, National Night Out was in August 5th over at Stonefield, very well attended. Us and the fire department were there, had a number of community events and interacted with a lot of folks down there that night, so it was really well done. Rec department did a tremendous job getting people out, and we were happy to participate in that event. And with that, I will take any questions that you may have.
All right. Really appreciate the thorough update as always, Chief. In talking about, some of these accidents that have been happening here over the summer, over the past couple of months, and you alluded to speed being a factor. I mean, have you seen any uptick in our speed, losing the word, but the speed management, speed tracking, for the folks doing that sort of traffic control?
Yeah, so we're present, obviously, at no one's really speeding, so we do get some complaints, as you're well aware. We try to manage those. We do have click-it-a-ticket grants, drive sober, get pulled over grants, distracted driving grants. We have cops out on patrol in the center of town managing people on their phones, things of that nature. The driving has not been great since we all came back from the pandemic. I find that people are driving erratically. They're on their phones constantly. So traffic enforcement is a big part of our role, not only just to write tickets to people that are speeding, but it's a great, it's a community engagement and an educational thing for us as well. So we take that very seriously, and we're working very hard to manage those things. But it's always going to be a thing, especially with more traffic. There's more traffic around everywhere now as we see more folks out in the roads as we go along. So yeah, it's definitely been an issue.
Okay. Yeah, traffic enforcement. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But I
Yes.
think as much as anything, it can act as a deterrent and also maybe an opportunity for education. I mean, people will see then accidents where unfortunately people lose their lives, and that's a big deterrent. But the hope would be that we could get to people before that so that they can understand really these local roads, particularly in Walpole, right? There's twists and turns. The speed limit is set for a reason, and that's because you can't, you can't see as far in front of you as you'd need to stop. A lot of cars entering and leaving. So I hope that's something that we can resolve and we see a downtick in for once.
Yeah, I mean, we do see fatal crashes from time to time. It's rare for us to get this many in a bunch, and that's why I mentioned we had a busy Q2. There's no crime trend driving that, but sometimes these things come ebbs and flows, and unfortunately, we did see, as I mentioned, loss of life in a number of different incidents in the past few months. So yes, absolutely, we'll maintain the enforcement for sure.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions from the board? Mark?
Yeah, I would just make the comment that and I've said this before, I'm always impressed with how much training you're doing in any given quarter to keep the officers up to date on, the law and the techniques and all those kind of things. So I'm very impressed with that, and I really appreciate that you're doing everything you can to be, at the top of your game. So thank you.
Yeah, it means a lot to have people that are instructors as well in-house to keep everybody engaged and active and to teach their co-workers. It's not an easy task. I could never do it myself. And the people that volunteer to do that stuff it's good on them, and it's great for everybody to stay engaged.
Anybody else?
I would just echo Mark's comments about the training, and overall, another great report, Chief, so thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Next under appointments is the Fire Chief Quarterly Report. Chief Barry, come on down.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us before you tonight. Calls to service to date. Again, we're busy as well. Calls to service to date. Fire prevention, extremely busy. Deputy Hovers and the captains and chiefs as well have conducted 2,037 so far, up a bit from last year. Runs have gone up substantially. We're at 3,547 runs to date, up 398 from this point last year. That's a substantial increase, and our firefighters have been busy day in, day out, and I appreciate the hard work and the professionalism that they've extended each and every day, so just want to make note of that. Of those runs, we've had some significant incidents as well, and Chief Keller mentioned a few of them, but I'll touch on a few. Back in April, we had a 2-alarm fire on Glenwood Ave. It was a great job by Group 4, which was the on-duty group. We were extremely fortunate everybody was in at that time. Both ambulances were in the station at that time, so when it was close to the station, they were able to make a quick response. And under the initial incident commander, Captain Peter Carter, he made some great decisions, and combined with the knowledgeable and aggressive attack by the duty group, they helped mitigate the fire and the damage that was potentially going to cause. So I'm extremely grateful to those guys. They did a great job that night. Pretty impressive when I was coming from home and seeing what I saw and what they were able to knock down extremely quickly. We had a small commercial fire on a building on West Street. Again, the duty group did a good job, quick knockdown, quick investigation, and that was Group 1. Lee Street, we had a working fire in a single-family residence with no occupants at the time. Group 1 did a great job. I was extremely impressed with professionalism and the minimal damage they had to do to vent and control the fire and contain the fire. Salvaging a whole wall was tremendous with that incident, minimizing the damage that the homeowners had to deal with and endure during the process. In July was an extremely busy from us. We had 2 separate incidents on the same night, weather-related night, lightning storm, a house fire, and then a shed fire right down the street. And Group 1, Captain Keogh did a great job by calling in mutual aid right off the bat with the report of the second fire. Foxborough came and assisted with that, and Deputy Tebow came and took command of that situation. But groups did a great job. Recall people came back quickly, and were able to investigate, mitigate, and do our job. A larger, more unfortunate incident happened for a second alarm fire on North Street about a week later. Unfortunately, 8 horses were lost in that fire. But despite the tragic outcome, our firefighters and our mutual aid partners did a tremendous job under extremely challenging conditions that night. I greatly appreciate their dedication and professionalism and the way they performed that night. Tremendous job, trying conditions, and I had multiple chiefs reach out to me afterwards and advise me the same thought process that I had. So again, tragic night, but great job by those guys and gals that night. Mutual aid is we've been busy. The ambulance to and fro continues, and way back in April, we also responded to a large fire in Bellingham, which ended up going to a task force response. Our brush truck responded. They spent multiple hours. That was actually the same day as the Glenwood fire, so that was a busy group for that day, and they did a great job containing both situations. And that chief called back and reported what a great job those guys did. So hats off to them. We responded to a commercial fire in the building, Route 1 for Norwood. Responded to Norfolk for a technical rescue at their prison. They had a individual in their tower that needed to be extricated, and we brought our tower and assisted with that response. It was much safer for them to operate off of our bucket, which made everybody a lot safer and got the patient out into where they needed to go for treatment. Responded to Foxborough, Patriots Place for a fire during a construction zone, and then Norfolk and Rentham during extremely hot days to third alarms, and those were extremely challenging and difficult situations. Weather-related incidents were difficult and challenging at times for the firefighters working under that gear and under those situations. We had med flight in once and transported 1 patient from a motorcycle accident just recently. Back in July, we had a water incident that Chief Gallagher had mentioned. Group 4 responded to an incident on Bullard Street that developed into the water rescue that was mentioned. Captain Stacy, Lieutenant Shea, firefighters Gavin O'Neill, Thomas Curran, Campobasso, Malloy, and Shea all demonstrated exceptional courage and professionalism throughout that response. I commend their actions from each of them, as well as Deputy Hover responded and took over incident command for that situation. Again, a tragic night, but they performed very, very well under a unique situation and a unique response that we don't always see. MCIC at the junction for us, we've been on a few times just for false alarms, and we're working with their facilities personnel to mitigate those situations and try to eliminate those false alarms. Drought status update right now as of the August 1st state map. We're at the mild drought level, but the USDA Forest Service is projecting a drier than average fall, so we'll keep an eye on that and request that our residents keep an eye on what they do for outside fires and be safe. Our personnel, we've had 2 resignations since we were last before you. Firefighter Bosworth and Firefighter Mulford, both of them moved on to different departments. We wish them well. Our 2 newest hires are doing very well, transitioning nicely, progressing through their respective paramedic training, and we're hopeful to get them into a November or December academy class. That's where they're pushing out right now. So their timing when they complete their medic program should line up with those is what we're hoping for. We're also working forward to bringing a few new candidates before you shortly, so we can fill our roles, and we're somewhat excited by some of the candidates that we've received this time. So hopefully good news soon. Just want to acknowledge Firefighter Kugis, who earned his paramedic license since last before you, just before he entered the academy. His timing was perfect with that, and graduated the fire academy, and he's been assigned to Group 2, and he's doing very, very well there. So congrats to him. Our AFG grant, which we reported on last time was before you, is reportedly supposed to be coming out at the end of this month. I don't want to hold my breath, but we'll see what happens, and we're optimistic. We're optimistic, and then the SAFER grant should be following up shortly after for that. So we were successful with the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security grant. Chief Sorella had wrote, and which enabled us to purchase some additional PPE, some EMS jackets, some extrication coats to kind of help keep our personnel safe. Training has been extremely busy as call volume allows. We try to keep most of our stuff on duty. Many members are taking multiple different classes through the Mass Fire Academy and other sources that's made available to them. Deputy Hovers and Tebow took classes down at the National Fire Academy in Maryland this summer, so I appreciate the time and effort those individuals put in as well. And Deputy Tebow has continued on with the EMS training throughout both quarters, and has scheduled our BLS refresher for this fall, so try to get in as call volume warrants. So, cooling stations, we were fortunate enough to be able to provide a couple of days of cooling stations during the heat wave during June, and they were attended very well by the kids, and I'm appreciative of our firefighters that were able to help set up and come in and provide those opportunities for the kids. Foam Day at LaRusso Field was greatly attended, and I'd like to thank firefighter Chris Luongo, who spearheaded that program, started it last year and continued it. It's a great idea, great opportunity, and very, very well received. Firefighters David Jenks and Mike Shea came in and assisted with those times. They all volunteered their time, so thanks to them. The night before the 4th was a challenging night due to the weather, and new chair Erica Thomas, firefighter Erica Thomas, did a great job coordinating the whole process. Thanks to Jim, Patrick, and the custodians who helped deal us with the weather event and getting Blackburn open and trying to herd people into there and keep that controlled. Thanks to Chief Kelleher and the police department for, again, maintaining everything for us and coordinating with the sheriff's department to come on in. And we're indebted to all the firefighters, their families and friends who donated their time to help put on a great event for Walpole, once again for the 65th time. So with that, thank you very much. I'll take any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the detailed update there, Chief, and would emphasize, the weather that we see these days, especially over the summer, and we're all used to looking at the radar in the afternoon, and you see the line of storms coming across, and it seems like it's just kind of a roll of the dice as to whether it hits Walpole or Bellingham or where it might be. So certainly we're very appreciative for the work that the department does to be ready, and whether it's mutual aid or something in our own town.
Sure.
It could be any day that something like that happens, whether it's wind or lightning. It seems it's really a really intense situation, so we appreciate that and acknowledge what a crapshoot it is, in a manner of speaking. Any other comments from the board? Yeah, why don't we start with Ally?
I was just gonna say commend the department. I mean, the report just really shows the magnitude of the variety of calls that you are doing, the weather, the med flights, of fires dealing with large animals. That is completely different training of large animals and having that situation, storm mutual calls, water rescues, tower rescues. I mean, I really think in this report, you guys really hit almost everything. And for our department to also have people that are willing to volunteer their time for the events at Lucid Field for the night before the 4th, I mean, they have just, you can tell, they've been working hard.
No, I'm extremely appreciative.
No.
They do a great job for us, and, we obviously couldn't do it without them.
Right, and all the training that you need for all those different types of emergency situations that you're dealing with, and it's hard to fit it in, and like you have said, recall and mutual aids and everyone trying to get all that training in, and it just shows how important it is, because every call is certainly, you don't know, I'm sure you feel, you don't know what you're walking into.
Exactly. Thank
So
you.
I just thank you to the department for all their work.
Awesome.
I would also just say that we still recognize that with Norwood Hospital closed now for a couple of years, it makes every single ambulance run much more difficult and lengthy, because what would have been a short 10-minute trip over to Norwood, you do your thing, you turn them over, and now sometimes you're going to Brockton, to Boston, to Needham, you're going all over the place. So it puts a lot more stress on the paramedics and the firefighters, because more of your team is out of town delivering patients to the care that they need. So we recognize that, and we understand it's a huge burden on the department. And we hope that the state, gets their act together and gets Norwood Hospital reopened for the citizens in the area. So, thank you.
That would be great. I appreciate the thoughts and comments. They're just busier and busier, and our call volume goes up and up, and they do without complaints, and they get their job done, so it's great to work with them.
Just jumping on Ally's comment, I had the same impression as you were talking about the variety of calls that you've handled in the recent past and how well you've handled them. And, it's a testament to just how qualified, professional, and well-trained this department is, that they can go and do all those things you just described. It was really something to listen to, so thank you for that. A quick question, the false alarms at MCI Cedar Junction you talk about, do we know what causes the false alarms up there? It seems like there's a lot of them.
It's a very antiquated system. There's some water leaks. It's an unmaintained building, and often sometimes that'll trigger it. Could be environmental, so sometimes it's just the equipment that needs to be taken out, but there's nobody monitoring the system, so it's a combination of effect. But Deputy Hover's been pretty persistent in dealing with them, and they've been reactive to his requests. They understand the situation that we're in when we have to respond there. So so far it's a good working relationship.
And do I recall from a past update that you now have the keys up there, so you don't have to wait for people from the
We do,
Department
but
of Corrections?
they still have a standard operating procedure is for a CO, corrections officer,
Gotcha.
or staff member to come from one of the other facilities and meet us on scene to help.
Yeah,
to
it's
help,
just, it's not a good situation. We get our firefighters tied up on a false alarm, and they really need to fix that. So anything that we can do to help get that done, let us know.
Thank you.
Now, my fellow comment, night before the 4th was just outstanding. The fire engine parade, incredible. You have a massive fan in my 18-month-old grandson who couldn't believe the fire engines.
There you go.
So it was really a wonderful time, Chief, so thank you.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, with the time being after 7:35 PM, we will now have open forum. Is there anybody here from the public who would like to speak at open forum? Come on up. If you could please state your name for the record and We usually try to keep it to 3 or 4 minutes, but go ahead.
Yeah, hi. John Hassenjager, Sewer and Water Commissioner. Just briefly, I would want to say that I know you have a warrant voting procedure coming up or this evening, and the commission, you have an Article 7, and we haven't really had much notice to respond to this or to cooperate in discussing it, but I just want to put the request, I guess, or invitation that the commission would like to speak with the selectmen about the genesis of the article and about our positions on it, and listen to the rationale from the board on how that came about or how it will go forward. So I'm just saying, I guess, Mr. Chairman, that we do have 2 meetings scheduled, one Monday, the 15th, and also the 22nd. So if there's any opportunity to meet with either 2 members of your board and the town administrator, or the board at either your meeting or at one of our meetings, we can come to a meeting as be posted as a meeting, or you can come to our meeting on either of those dates. So we could listen to more of an explanation of that article from you and try to give our position on it. Okay, that's basically my request.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
John.
Mr.
Thanks,
Hassinger.
John.
Is there anybody else for open forum? Yes, please, come up.
Lucy McNamara, 16 Clear Pond Drive. Tailing on to what the sewer commissioner had mentioned, and I think one of the select persons was around when I asked about the MWRA connection and the process, what has been going on with that. And I did have an opportunity to attend one of the Sewer and Water Commission meetings about that project. So hearing about the warrant number 7 and knowing that there's a multi-million-dollar project that is being discussed that at this point is 25% built out, I'm just wondering about the timing of the warrant. And, you know, I know more information will come to people, but it just concerns me that there is such a large project that is under consideration in the process of being designed, and this warrant is coming up. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for open forum? Okay, we will move on then to new business. Vote toward bid contracts. We have two contracts that we're looking at. First being the water treatment chemicals to various vendors. Jim, if you...
Sure. On August 6, 2025, 6 bid submissions were received for the chemicals listed, items A through H, and I'm not even going to attempt to say those because I will stumble all over my words. Rick and Steve Nunnery, the superintendent, DPW director, have reviewed those and making favorable recommendations here. Item A, Univar Solutions. Item B, Univar Solutions. Item C, Univar Solutions. Item D, Univar Solutions. Item E, Holland Company. Item F, Univar Solutions. Item G, no bid for that one. And item H, CAG Corporation. Recommend favorable action on bid contract number 2602, water treatment chemicals.
Any additional questions or comments from the board? Yeah, Jim?
Just in terms of the one that we didn't get a bid on, what do we do to get those chemicals?
So we would just solicit quotes from vendors that can...
Gotcha. So it doesn't point to the fact that we're not going to be able to get the chemicals, it's just that the bid process, for whatever reason, nobody bid.
Small quantities, not worth it.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Rick.
Great.
And I'll make a motion to award bid contract 2026-02 to various vendors.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0-0. The next one is 2603. Jim?
Sure, recommend favorable action for bid 2603 to be awarded to Washington, for the Washington Street well-filled raw water cleaning to American Pipeline Solutions based in New Milford, Pennsylvania. The bid amount of $208,000.
Any other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion to award bid contract 2026-03 to American Pipeline Solutions, Inc.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0-0, the motion passes. And the next item of business is the vote to release the street opening moratorium security being held for 1076 North Street.
Recommend favorable action on this one. We have a memo in front of us dated August 25th, 2025, from Town Engineer Carl Baldoff, recommending that the board go ahead and release the funds for the donor. There's some attachments here. I've talked to Rick and Carl about this. They're comfortable with releasing this.
All the paperwork's in order. Any other comments from the board? Questions?
Make a motion to release the street opening moratorium security being held for work at 1076 North Street.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0-0. All right, the next item of business then is the vote to sign the fall town meeting warrant and then further discussion and vote on the articles.
So if I could just, before you go ahead and make this vote.
Sure.
Obviously, the select board generally waits to vote on each article until the finance committee weighs in. You'll see their articles 1 through 10. The finance committee has weighed in on all of them. The last 3 are recommendation at town meeting. Those are the zoning articles. They'd like to wait until the planning board holds their public hearing later on this month. I did, initially, your draft did have an Article 8 on there, which was some changes to the charter, minor changes as far as dates for town meeting, delivery of the budget message. Finance committee last evening voted no action, 6-0-5, 5 abstentions. They basically, the feedback I got was, let's dig into this a little bit more. So since we're still in draft form here, I'd recommend not even having that on there. That's why Articles 1 through 10, not 11, as I mentioned at the last meeting. So that's where we're at with that one.
Okay.
And I'll be, if the board finds the same way, I'll make sure I update the finance committee accordingly.
All right, very good. So I guess first things first, we'll talk about the warrant generally, and then we can talk about each of the individual articles. Is there any other questions or comments from the board members on the warrant article language?
Can I just have a reminder of when the planning board public hearing is set to be? Do you have that date?
18th, right?
Here's the warrant.
Yes,
September 18th.
Okay.
Oh, the warrant?
yes, the 18th.
Okay, I have that. Thanks.
And FinCom will not be meeting with prior.
Their next scheduled meeting is their public hearing, which is the Thursday before town meeting. And so what they had decided to do is hold the public hearing at 7:30 Thursday before town meeting and have their regular meeting at 7 o'clock to weigh in on those articles. So in the book, it'll go in as recommendation at town meeting. And we'll be sure to get, as part of the packet, summary out to town meeting members, and if whatever the planning board votes, will include that too.
I just think, not to skip to that, but, I think that's, can be kind of challenging, because I do feel that town meeting members do really look for what the recommendation of FinCom is on articles. And when that is not really voted on or fully discussed the night of town meeting, I just find that to be challenging. But I know it's hard to fit the schedules in.
For sure. Okay, so before we have any vote on finalization and signing of the warrant, any further question or comment on the language in the warrant?
Yeah, so I wasn't able to attend the Finance Committee meeting last night, but I did watch it today to get caught up to speed, and there was quite a lengthy discussion on Article 7. A lot of very good discussion, I might say, very productive discussion. I thought the FinCom was excellent in their questioning, and I think there was a lot that came out of that discussion. there's clearly some support on the FinCom for the article, the efficiency effectiveness question and other things, which we'll get into later. There was one thing that clearly came out to me, which is, the article is written that says the select board will be the appointing authority for the 5-member advisory board, assuming that it passes. There seemed to be some concern at the FinCom about that, the whole notion of the political nature of it and all that. So what I would like to propose is that we change the wording on this article to move away from the select board having the only appointing authority and go to something more like we do on some of their other boards that we appoint, where there are multiple groups that are actually doing the appointments. So instead of having us do all 5, something like we do 2, FinCom does 2, moderator does 1, that seemed like something that might be more palatable to people as we work our way through this. So I think it would behoove us to modify the language to reflect that. And then that, of course, goes into the vacancy part of the discussion as well in the article to say, the select board, if it's a select board vacancy, they fill, FinCom, they fill, town moderator, they fill. And so I'd like to have some dialogue around that, see if the board would be supportive of us not being the only appointing authority as we move forward with this discussion.
Okay.
Jim, anything that you would say
No, that
before?
was obviously, there was.
You were at the meeting,
Some of the
so-
sewer and water commissioners, 4 of them were there that evening. 3 of them advocated to keep the position. And I explained to the finance committee, I'm in a bit of an awkward position. I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible because obviously I'm an agent of the Sewer and Water Commission per the charter. I also am appointed by the select board to run the day-to-day operations of the town. So a little bit of an awkward position, but my general feedback was the people who abstained and some of the people who voted no on finance committee raised some questions about power and, they're an advisory board, and I think maybe Mark Trudell might have said he might have liked it better if there was a split or something on there, and he was one of the no votes. So that might be a good approach to, addressing some of the concerns if you want to move forward with this article.
Sure. Go ahead, Glenn.
Sure, and I don't have a problem with everything you described, and quite honestly, I actually think that's not the most important part of this. I think that is important, and I think, as you described, having multiple members from appointed by the town moderator to the finance committee from us, we're elected, others are elected, some are appointed. I think that all works. It all works for me. But I actually just want to spend a couple minutes talking about the why and how we got here, because I don't feel like I've had too much of an opportunity to do that. I have had lots of conversations with lots of people, one-on-one, and I don't know that I've done it extensively up here. I'm not going to go on and on, but I do think that if I could just briefly say that I think that the reason why we're going to, or that we're proposing to go to a sewer and water advisory board appointed is that, frankly, that it's time, is that the town has grown significantly over 100 years and that we're not the same town that we were. We don't have the same water and sewer system that we once had 150, 25 years ago, and that it's time to change to a more of a professionally focused system, which is what we have, and I think we will continue to have that. It'll just be run better and more efficiently, and I think that the Sewer Advisory Board can continue to focus on policy. It can continue to focus on rate setting. We still have that check and balance where we're not going to have the professional staff saying we want to raise rates sky high. We're going to have that check and balance by us. We're ratepayers. We pay the rates. We live in town. Our neighbors will make sure that we don't go overboard with any rate setting. I think the advisory board will advise us. We also have the check and balance of capital budget committee and finance committee and town meeting. So there's appointed and elected members all the way up and down, and that's not going to change. What would change would be the makeup of the sewer and water advisory board. It won't be elected anymore, it would be appointed, and I think that's okay. I think we still have plenty of checks and balances built in for Article 7 to still be an effective way to run the system. So I just wanted to spend a couple minutes, if anybody wants to talk about the appointed and how they come to be, that's fine, but I just wanted to spend a minute talking about the why we're doing this to begin with, and just quite frankly, I think it's time.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Mark?
Good, you can.
Well, I was just going to say, Jim, I also watched the meeting last night and, listening to the comments from Finance Committee and what was questioned were the noes, where the people who abstained were. I think splitting that up, that power, and would help with this article.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I would just say, Glenn, I think you did a good job of giving a lot more of the background to the discussion, and I agree with all that. Jim, I think that the changes you're proposing are actually very good, and to spread out the authority of appointment, I think is a good idea, because we do have that in some of our other boards, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't mean to skip over
You did not.
the why, and so Glenn,
You
I'm
answered the question that was asked. and-
grateful that you actually did that. I thought you did a fine job, but just focusing on what Ben was asking, that's what I was trying to accomplish. So, but you were spot on, so thank you.
Thanks. And just real quick, a comment was mentioned about the MWRA connection. That is something that has nothing to do with this whatsoever. It's a completely separate question. It won't speed that up or slow it down. That'll continue on its path, which is not particularly far along. That is just a conversation that is happening. That conversation will probably continue to happen, but this is completely unrelated to that.
Okay. Good information. Thank you, Glenn. All right, so as Jim O'Neill alluded to, he had given the board here a revised text for Article 7 that changes the composition, as he just alluded to, that there would be 2 members appointed by the Select Board, 2 by the Finance Committee, 1 by the moderator. Any vacancy arising in the office shall be filled by the appropriate appointing authority for the remainder of the unexpired term. So with those changes to Article 7, are we comfortable taking a vote to sign the fall town meeting warrant?
I can make a motion to sign the fall town meeting warrant with the amended changes to Article 7 as outlined by Board Member O'Neill.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes 5-0 to sign the fall town meeting warrant. Great. So now, looking at each of these individual articles, typically, and I think Jim may have mentioned this, usually we take these up after FinCom has, discussed in detail and gone through each of these. Articles 2 through 7 have been voted on by FinCom, so absent any objection from a board member, I'd say we can just start with Article 2 and go through those. Jim, do you have any additional details that you'd like to offer in terms of Article 2?
I believe I gave the board a brief summary of Article 2 here, and I shared with you a memo dated August 22nd, just in regards to what we're looking to do here. As you are well aware, we discussed with the school committee in the spring. They came to us and said they were $1.2 million short. They were going to find about $600,000 either through attrition. Mike Fisher was going to do his Mike Fisher stuff, and he did. And we'd worked together with the employee groups on the health insurance, and we were optimistic that state aid came through. So good news, it came through. So this article would address the about $590,000 increase in the school budget. It would also increase take the free cash, the collections from the Medicare money, parking fees, and the McKinney-Vento Act. So all in, this article would be for $1,178,518. Transfer from free cash, health insurance, and through taxation, which is the state aid, into the school's budget.
Great, yeah, and just to highlight again, Article 2, that's the fiscal year 26 budget adjustments, in-year budget adjustments. And Jim, I think you did a good job summarizing here kind of what we had gone through with the school committee. Certainly, we have spilled a lot of ink and spent a lot of time discussing that. So without rehashing it here, that was really a testament to a great interdepartmental, coordination and intercommittee and board, coordination and communication to kind of bridge that gap, find a way forward, and then getting the health insurance money in the state aid as well obviously helped. But I think that was a real victory. Hopefully, in years moving forward, we don't face those same sorts of shortfalls, but I think it's helpful to know that when we do, that we have the controls in place to be able to face them. So any further comment or questions on Article 2?
Nope.
You can make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article 2.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0-0, favorable action. Article 3.
So Article 3 and Article 4, the Finance Committee kind of wanted to discuss together. because they have a lot to do with not only our bond rating, but our long-term savings funds, the stabilization, and the OPEB. They wanted, my initial recommendation was 1.2 million from free cash into OPEB. Again, some members were concerned with the economy. They had they asked Jody and I how we felt about lowering it to $1 million and taking that extra 200 and putting it down to the general fund stabilization. I didn't have any real concerns with that one way or another. It's going to help our bond rating next time we go out for the remaining 25 and the remaining $7 million for the high school and middle schools respectively. So they made that change. So it was an even $1 million into OPEB. And that continues to build on the almost $14 million balance we have in that account.
Great. Any further questions or comment on Article 3? Glenn?
Move to recommend favorable action on Article 3.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Favorable action, 500. Stabilization funds.
So Article 4 addresses the three stabilization funds currently held by the town, the general stabilization fund, capital, and facility stabilization. So Finance Committee recommended 1.4 million for the general, 1 million for the capital, and 600,000 for the facilities.
All right. Any further questions or discussion from the board on those?
Move to recommend favorable action on Article 4.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500, favorable action. And I would actually add on that one, all three of those stabilization funds, we've talked about a considerable amount previously, especially the capital budget and the facilities budget, which facilities fund, which is relatively new. So certainly more to come on that in town meeting. The next article is 5, capital budget non-borrowing.
Sure. Capital Budget and Finance Committee recommended favorable action on Articles 5 and 6. 5 is specifically for the non-borrowing items, covers free cash appropriation, Chapter 90, water and sewer retained earnings, and all the recommendations that I had made. There was a lot of debate about many of them, but they went along and recommend favorable action on that account.
Any further comment from the board?
Move to recommend favorable action on Article 5.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Favorable action, 500.
I can make a motion
Go ahead with Article
to
6.
recommend favorable action on Article 6.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. That's favorable action, 500 on Article 6. And then we have the aforementioned Article 7, which Glenn spoke to previously, as well as a couple of board members. Is there any further comment on that from the board? If not, Glenn?
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article 7.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Favorable action, 500. Now, Article 8, 9, and 10, as Jim Johnson had summarized, we'll be taking up at a later date after the planning board's public hearing, which is on September 18th. All right, moving on. We have the consent agenda items. Glenn, please.
A motion to approve the consent items as listed on the September 9th agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500. Passes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 5th, 2025 as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500. The motion passes. We will now move on to the town administrator's update. Jim?
Sure. So just touching on town meeting just a little bit. We're all set for town meeting. We now have 10 articles. Middle school's booked for third Monday in October. And Finance Committee is set to hold their public hearing on the Thursday before that, which is the 16th. Thank you, Eva. And we're going ahead with that. Bird Pond Dam, just an update on the, sorry.
Just before you move off town meeting, so Walpole Media, are they all set for town meeting this time around, and how do we know that?
I have reached out to Aoife and copied the chair on, not Aoife, sorry, Aoife, Tamara, and Walpole Media, and spoke to her. She's confirmed in writing they are all set. Kristen didn't have any suggestions that they're not all set, so I'm going to take their word for it.
So what I think that means is live on Walpole Cable, live on FiOS, live on
Verizon and YouTube.
Verizon and YouTube.
Yeah. those-
So-
And will it be a live stream as well?
Patrick is nodding in the back there.
Patrick's nodding also. Good, yes.
Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Will it also be a live stream?
I had specifically asked about YouTube because I know a lot of the people.
Because there are some people that don't have cable, but they would like to watch the meeting.
She confirmed.
Thank you.
And so last question, have they tested all of the various distribution channels?
I will double check, and I will also ask Mike Donovan, our IT director, to work with her to make sure we're all good.
They had indicated that they had tested it once and that and it was successful, and that they intended to test it a second time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And we've asked them to, keep us updated on any developments, yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else? Okay. Just a quick update on Bird Pond Dam. There was the board spent a lot of time and effort on that project, and, we had multiple public hearings and discussions on that. We invited the neighbors in. And since the May 22nd letter was issued, I have silence. I have acknowledgement of the letter. I sent them something back, I think August 25th, August 27th. They said I'd hear back from them. I just want to let you know, I continue to follow up with them. I followed up with them today directly with DCR instead of going through their consultant. I'm just waiting to hear back. I'm probably going to reach out to our state reps next and just, it's some time's gone by now on this thing, and I just would like to know, you took your vote on this matter. They know where you stand. Do they agree to that? And maybe it's a positive that's taken so long for them to acknowledge it back. But as soon as I have a response, I'll let you know.
Hey, Jim, I would just add that, every time I hear there's a hurricane coming up the coast, it makes me worry a little bit more about that dam. And I know that the dam was lowered a little bit for safety purposes because it was leaking, but still, I think that's a safety hazard.
I agree.
I agree that that you should continue to keep after them and let them know it's important to the board.
Okay.
Does it make sense to just schedule a call with them?
Yeah, sure. I can
rather than
work
do
to
the
schedule
back and
something.
forth?
Yeah.
That's something
I'm probably going to put our reps on it. That seems to get their attention when
Okay.
we reach out to the delegation.
Thank you, okay.
Yeah. So perfect leeway into my next note here. Emergency management. Ben had reached out in the summer during some of those storms, I think in the middle of the country where we saw a lot of flooding, and asked Management Director Lightbody, where do we stand with this? He was in today, I overheard him, and he said, does the board want me to come in and give an update? I think that would be a good idea, Ben. We
Yeah,
talked about it
absolutely.
in September.
Yeah.
Can I schedule it for either the next meeting or the first meeting in October, if you're okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's great. Whichever one works best for the agenda, yeah. That'd be great to have them in.
Okay, and that's it.
Anything else from the board? Mark?
So I know they're continuing to work on paving, and I know they've done an awful lot of work on Washington Street. I don't know if they're completely finished or not, but how about East Street? I drive by East Street every couple of days, and it's a boom, 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 boom. And when are they scheduled to try to get a handle on that?
I may look to Rick, but you want to make your way up here, Rick? But I've talked to Joe.
Sidewalks too. I said roadway, but it's the whole package, sidewalks, curb.
Sidewalks directly in front of the middle school, the ball fields are not done, so.
Yeah, so they're on schedule, or I believe they're scheduled to pour the sidewalks tomorrow.
Okay,
The roadway, I believe, is the second week in October.
okay. All right.
So they're moving forward. They're all over the place. They're doing a lot of sidewalk work down in the eastern section of town, and their resources are kind of tied up.
And it was a bit of a coordination issue on East Street because the school contractor was doing the school side, and on the non-school side, it was our contractor, and on the paving. So they were trying to coordinate it so the school contractor would be out of there. They tell us the fencing around the school is supposed to be done, what do we talk about, Patrick? This week? Yeah. So it's progressing. They know where we stand on this. I'm frustrated because the whole purpose of doing that sidewalk was to get the kids to school safely, and where first full week of school here, and it's not done yet. So I'm frustrated too.
Tomorrow's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I will say that my daughter plays on a soccer team that plays at Bird, there, or excuse me, Bird, at the middle school. And being able to park along there with the new parking that they've installed, where it's wider and actually flat, and you're not parking up on the curb, and your car isn't hanging out into traffic, is fantastic. You don't feel like you're taking your life in your hands when you go to a game at the middle school. In any event, any further comment? I'd hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Come on, my